Racism often appears in culture, but it didn't just happen out of thin air. If you use Marx's concept of base and superstructure, you can find that racism is rooted in the economy. In a capitalist setting, the only real reason for anything is money. Access to money comes from and maintains power. That power will always be selfish. It understands its own privilege. It understands that the market always has another person willing to do it better at the first sign of opportunity. This causes a paranoia for those in power. Power has its ways of lessening the risk of being superseded. Any bias, any possible way to subjugate those in contention for power will be set into motion. Race, or otherness, is a bias. It's a superficial justification. In our equal condition as humans, how can we justify power over another? We make it up. Those in power turn the tables in their favor to maintain their own superiority. Oh, you sell sugar? Let's make a trade pact. You exploit your workers and we'll buy it 3 times lower than the market average. So glad you see it our way, Banana Republic. Or rather, so glad you didn't have a choice. After all, who's going to question them? So that's how it went with the scramble for Africa. That's how it went with our little brown brothers in the Philippines. It works so great when we're calling the shots, right? Those in power do what they want. If what they're doing sounds bad, if it goes against some sort of ethical code, they turn those exploited into the other or the Orient. Remember, it was Europe's duty to bring their superior culture to uncivilized nations. So think of a racist-free society. So I think a racist-free society is one that upholds equality and follows codes of ethics that go along with this. And the society actually has to do it, or it doesn't work. Here's some questions to think about. Can we imagine a capitalist market where those in power don't create inequalities in order to hold their own? Can we imagine the society Fanon wanted Africa to discover? Can we imagine a society that would never allow for colonialism or imperialism? Can we imagine this society without exploitation? The answer, hopefully, is yes, we can. We can imagine happy red, yellow, white, black, purple people shaking hands, trading goods. But I can also imagine fire-breathing dragons, pearly gates, and a nice chocolate shake. There's a dilemma with this kind of egalitarian capitalist system. Profit is the fundamental goal of capitalism. Besides state-enforced minimum wages, the market controls the ability to establish what it considers to be fair compensation for work. But companies can get around this by outsourcing jobs. This is also why CEOs make ridiculously disproportionate salaries in comparison to their employees. Of course, the consumer has the ability to deny the price or service if it seems unreasonable, so the buyer has some control. In order for an egalitarian capitalist system to work, the buyer would need to assert their power to check business. But the underlying issue here that I'm trying to get at, the master narrative of our consumer culture, of any capitalist culture, is unrelated to our system of ethics. Where does profit fit into ethics? Ethics is strictly operational. Equal means equal. There's no surplus. So how can we justify profit? We'd have to find some relationship between life and the market that's based on real substance, not gold or not trust. And then everything starts to feel very communistic, but we are using Marx as a foundation. So what are we learning? Capitalism doesn't care about equality. It cares about money. Racism comes from fear. Power wants to keep power. And if we want to bring ethics into capitalism and end racism, we have to change the goal of getting more out than we put in.